Hi guys, it's all great news for all the PS4 SYSCON people. As you know, the story of the BWE software, most of it is now deceased. For those that have got the BWE SYSCON writer, the first one, not the CH340, it was the one that was based on the Arduino, this particular one. There's one, I'm sure you'll recognise it. There's another one, little one here, which is one I should be probably using. If I can, there it is. If I can shrink down a little bit more. I'm going the wrong way. Well, I'll zoom you in a bit, I suppose. Zoom you in. That will focus in a minute. Unless it's caught one of these. Let's move them out of the way a bit. There we go. Right. So, the story is there's two bits of software now floating about as of today. One's a revamped old piece and one's a new one, very new. And I should be going through both of these for you. Right, but the first one I want to show you is the old one that's been rewritten. For the simple reason I need to lock a SYSCON and write the bit back that locks it so I can show you the other software unlocking it. So what we're going to be using is the Teensy on this one. I think I've covered building the Teensy on the ABK reader writer. I can't remember. It's on my YouTube channel anyway. There's a whole bit where I show how to put it together and how to burn the Teensy, burn it or program it, and then use it. Well, there's a version 2.02 now, and as I say, it uses Teensy. I think it's Teensy 4.1. I think Teensy ++2, something like that. So anyway, we're going to have a look at the Teensy. So we're going to shoot over to my other computer, if I can find it. Okay, there we go. At the moment, the software is just, well, it's running. I've just got it sat there. Again, if you're into the SYSCON, you know what it's all about. I don't want to go too far into this at the moment, but you need to connect your SYSCON up, obviously. Now, I should connect this one up. This one, as I say, I've been using to do a lot of the beta work for the guys. At the moment, it's unlocked. What I want to do is to actually lock the SYSCON, because once you've unlocked it, you don't need to glitch it any further. Once it's unlocked, you can just write to it. But I want to show you the glitch. So I'm just going to connect this up. So if you bear with me, I'm sure you don't want to watch me doing this, do you? Oh, perhaps you do. There we go. Right, so with this software, it's a little bit more complicated than the other bit of software. But this one allows you to do more. But I honestly, unless you know what you're doing, especially when you enable advanced mode, if you don't know how to sort of program blocks, don't use it. Use the software, but leave it in basic mode, which is basic, nothing ticked. What that'll do is just give you the options you need to dump the flash and write it back and unlock the chip. The other options basically enable you to dump parts of the chip, but if you do play it wrong, you're going to end up losing the chip. Right, I want block 0. Okay, so we'll go for block 0 and we'll save it as, well, that'll do it right over that. It'll generate a new file anyway. Okay, done. If we go have a look at it, it's generate 2 new files, as you can see, and if we look at C3, you'll see, I don't know if you can see that. You may not be able to, but C3 shows as 85, so I'm going to rewrite that as 04 and save it. That's on 001 bin, 0101 bin. That one. I'm just going to rename that and put an L there. I know that it's locked. No, it's the bottom one. So what I'm going to do now is write that one bin back. So we're going to go on to right partial, where are we? Right partial, block 0. Open 000. Okay, start. Yes. Okay. Right. So that was actually written it and verified at the block side. Now what I'm going to do, I'm now going to read that block again, and then we're going to have a look at it and make sure that it's actually locked. So we're now going to go into dump partial SYSCON. We could dump the whole thing, it doesn't matter, but I mean it's just saving time. And we'll save it as SYSCON block 1. I'll just put block dot bin. Save. Check. All good. Start. Right. Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is just check that that is now system1 lock dot bin. There we go. There we go. It is block. It is. I don't know if you can see that on there, but that's 04. So we've actually locked that file. Now this software does all what the other software does. It just does a little bit more. I'm just trying to show you both. But as I say, for general use of read-writing SYSCONs, the other one's probably a little bit easier to use, but this one will do a lot more for the more in-depth users. That's probably the best way of putting it. Right, so what we're going to do now is, well, we'll go back to the desk and go back to the other side. So I'll just get this machine out of the way, and we'll go back over to the other machine. And what we've got to do now is just go back to the other reader. I could write it with the same bit of software, but the reason for this is to show you both. So we've used that particular bit of software. Now that's the read writer using the Teensy. What we can do now is go back to the read writer, which was the old BWE writer that we've now got new software for, thanks to the Eggy guys. EGYDEV, EGYDEV. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I think EGYDEV. EGYDEV. It will shoot me. Right, where are we? Let's have a look. Oh, my leads fell off. So we're going to hook it up now to the old BWE read writer. So you can still use it. Well, there's a glitch pin on. This time, as I say, it's a lock chip, so hopefully it'll show us glitch this time. I'm not just reading. And I've got to remember which way around this goes. Tool, is it inwards or outwards? Inwards, I think. Probably around the wrong way. If it is, it'll tell me. Right, so let's go back to the other software. Again, as I said, this is all free. And if you look on the screen, there's if you capture that or write them down, there's links to ABK site on X, and you can nip up there and the links there. I'll try and put some links up on with this anyway. But anyways, I'm waffling on a bit, aren't I? So let's go back into dump. Glitching this time, you see that? Now that's because the chip is locked, so it does show the glitching. that's what I wanted to do. So we've killed two birds with one stone here and give ourselves a headache. But, no, it's all good. I'm sorry about the mess on my desk. I've got TNCs, Picos and God knows what everywhere. And doing all sorts of work with I2C on the Xboxes as well at the moment. So there's quite a few little things to come up. I think Benjamin's already popped a video up of reading the some of the errors from the Xbox using the I2C. It's a totally different protocol to what we've been using, but it's still quite simple. It's still 2-wire on Earth. Right, so there we go, reading for the second time. I'll probably speed this up. Right, so we've read that, so we should have 2 new files in the folder. Yeah, and the confirmation file there. So these will be the same, in fact all 3 should be. So if we take a peek and look at one, look at C3, as you can see there, it is 04, so the chip is still theoretically locked. I do like what it says after that there, where the door lock is. But I'm sure people that know what I mean will chuckle. Right, so we've read the chip. Now, if you're using this, you're obviously going to be trying to roll back the version to the previous. So unfortunately, a lot of that software is also gone. There's others now with WeTools, a few others that you can use, which I think everybody's sort of trying to get new software out. There's a lot of work going on from everyone. So if you still got your BWA tools, great. That's good news for yourselves. So unfortunately, mine have all gone off. Not the keys. It's just can't get through. The server's gone off, I think. So I don't know. But there you go. I'm quite happy to try and develop new stuff and work with other guys and see what we can make and take it from there. But right, so we've written, so you modify the file, you do whatever you got to do, and you got to write it back. So as you notice, this file was locked, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to write the file back, so we'll pick the file, we'll say number 2, that was the one we modified. Now it's giving you the options. Now you got option 1 is just to write the console only data. Write 2 is chip including block 1. You want to write entire chip, block 1, and enable OCD debug. That means that that will change that 04 to an 85 or 85 hex as it should be. And then after that, if you've done it where you've lifted the pin on the board, you can put the pin back and still write to it. It means it's been unlocked and it's in debug mode. Not often will it flash back. Occasionally I've had it when an update has actually wrote it back. But if it's your own and it's one used for development, what I would say is just put a wire, leave a wire on the leg that you've lifted, tape it back over the top of the chip, the wire, so it's not bending the pin, and take it off to a little link somewhere where you can link it to the 3.3 volt rail that it was on. So if it does link back, you can just unplug it and glitch it again. But anyway, I'm still waffling on. Option 3, verify yes, initializing glitching. There we go. Please confirm. Do not touch chip or reader. There we go. So that's now writing the full chip with your mods included. Okay, that's it. Files match, job done. Okay, so we'll come out of this one. And now the other bit of software, as I said earlier on, probably going to have to nip over to the other machine. Okay, let's just I'll bring that up on that one. Remote desktop. There we go. Okay. So in this particular package, let me just shut that down for a moment. Want the file. Okay, sorry about that. Right, when you download the folder, you'll find that you've got your files that you run on the PC, which is the actual program. It is an install, so you run the setup. It runs very much like a Windows app. So that sets up. Then the other folders, you need to go and look at your diagrams, depending on what chip you're going to use. I use TNC4. If you go into here, that will, if I can get to it, it will show you basically how to connect up the a chip to the TNC. It covers the 100 pin and the 64 pin. So that's the connection to the TNC4. The resistor, I use a 220 ohm, no problem. What I've actually done on mine, between the two pins, where the resistor shown here, you can just get a, I think it's an 03, resistor between the two and just tack it in there, a surface mount, which makes it easy. So let's just get rid of this picture box and come back on that one. Okay, so bearing in mind, there's your different TNCs, your diagrams, your hardware. Now there's the TNC, so it's TNC++2 4.14. Let's see what I've got here, what I can program. There's a 4.1 here somewhere. Let me just find it and I'll be back with it. There it is. Right, have I got a lead? Yep, there's the lead. Okay. I'll just snap that on. Right. I'm just going to pop back to, where are we? I think it's that one. There's the 4.1 there. It's quite a long chair. It's just basically all I've got my hands on, so it's a bit overkill for this, but that's the 4.1. There is a TNC3, 2, that's the TNC4, and that other one's the TNC4 there as well. So I think there's another one. So they're all different projects, most of these. So right, let's go back where we was. So in the here you see it says loader. Have we got the best image I can get there? Remote desktop, yeah. There's loaders, and in there's a little program called pfc-llc. If you run that, there we go. Right. There's your little programmer. Oh, you can move it about. If you go, there you go. You've got to click on that T. So on the actual TNC, there's a button. Now, if you see what you're seeing here, it's telling you to push the TNC button. And once you do, that will change. Like so. Okay. Now that's ready for programming. So you load the file, so you click on File, Open Hex, and then you want to go to the actual file that you need. 2.2, hardware, TNC4, we want 4.1, hardware 4.1, there's the hex file, so we want that. So we'll open that. then you can click the round button, which automatically loads it and reboots. So click, there we go, that's rebooted, done. So that's the teensy loaded, and that's it. So that is now ready to go. So that teensy, now you plug it in, and you'll just connect it up to, I'm not going to wire all this teensy up, but it's the same as the one we've just been using, wherever that went. As I say, it was only meant to be a bit of a short video just to let you know what's there. So basically, if you've got a teensy for 4.1 or ++2, that'll work with the GUI version, which is the first version I showed you, one where I was using blocks. The second version, which is the terminal version, the read writer, that works with what was the old BWE read writer. So if you've got that, then basically this will save you from worrying about anything, because it just works. There's no licenses, it's free. You just use it and say thanks to the guys. That is it in a nutshell, really. I think we'll bash another view of that up. There you go. Looks well pretty. That's that. So onward and upwards. I mean, try and get a bit more sorted, and the more news that comes about, we'll share it with you. Bye.